How are you doing?
Good, good. Good to see you.
Well, likewise, thank you. But I think that it might be helpful if we explain how we met in the beginning.
Oh,
Yeah, I have my
it
understanding,
was,
but I would like to hear
yeah.
yours.
You have a pretty good idea of when we met first. It was during COVID.
Yes.
You had a short film project called Era,
Mm-hmm.
and you were looking for an actor. And the producer of the film, I knew him, Shinichi Terachi. And then he contacted me out of blue saying oh, there's this guy, Masashi, trying to create something in this crazy time. And then he was looking for an actor who could portray this character. And I was like, I have no idea who that is, but the project sounds exciting, and it's COVID. I have nothing to do. I could definitely be on that project. And yeah, that was back in 2020, even 2020 or 2021, 2020.
I think it was 2020. Yeah.
2020 August, yeah, and it was a couple days shoot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very hot, sweating hot. Couple days in Waseda.
Yeah, in Tokyo.
In Tokyo, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was our first encounter.
Yeah.
First collaboration.
Yeah, I think that it was very quite fortunate one for me because we went to the same university. We were in the same this English drama club, but we were not in the.
I didn't know you.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't know you back then.
Because we were not in. We're not in the same year. You were 4 years above me, I guess, in the years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. We weren't even overlapping.
No, nothing was overlapping. It was only after I graduated from Waseda University that I got to know you through the project Era, and then I had a privilege to work on that one, and a couple of years later, we reconvened and worked on another short film project called Moonlight Driver with Christoph, who is the cinematographer on that project and also on this project out. And this was our third time collaboration, I guess.
Yeah, this one is the third one. The Moonlight Driver happened a couple years back. It was end of 2023.
Yes, I think.
Yeah. End of 2023.
So we go way back a little bit, and I think it's actually very. I'm very pleased that you're on this project and we work together, and also I'm talking to you today through this interview. But if you wouldn't mind, I would love to hear your first impression of this project out. Obviously, in the past, I have given you scripts for these short films, but this time it was a feature film project. And I would like to, understand your impression on it in the first place.
Yeah. Was it you who contacted me first, or was it Ricky, the casting director? It may have been Ricky.
Yes.
I was told that Masashi's got a project. It's a feature film, and he was still looking for actors. Because I'm based in Canada, in Vancouver, and the shoot was going to be in Tokyo. So there was a bit of a tricky situation, but I had another project that was going to happen around the same time in Tokyo. So the timing actually was going to work out.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, like I'm always 100% so down to work with Masashi. So I was excited to hear about the project, and I was like, of course I'm gonna audition for that role. And when I first read the script, it was like, it's so you know, like,
Oh, was it?
it's so Masashi. Yeah, that the character's like who's going through really hard time, and it's just so personal, tangible, so real, and like just portrays those like really, in a way, dark times. Still, like, I think it's really your style, like just not afraid of going there, getting there, portraying that. But at the same time, the film itself is, I wouldn't say just so. I wouldn't say it's just dark. There's hope. There's action. There's comedy in it as well. And I felt that was so you.
No, thank you for saying that. I think it's actually my first time to properly ask you about the impression of my projects, and this time with my co-writer / producer Nicholas. But I wonder how the creative process was for you on this project. So for those who don't know about the projects we worked together, the last two projects we worked, these short films, was that I wrote and directed, and one of the scripts was written with Nicholas, and Leo-san was a lead in these two short films. But this time, you were playing a brother to the protagonist Makoto, played by Natsuki Robertson, and it was slightly different approach, I thought, because on these two previous projects, since we were almost like two individuals who would have to stand at the top of this the game, and we would have to lead the pack in worlds in a way. But this time, you were playing the brother to the protagonist, and I wonder the creative process was any different to these prior projects, or the way in which you're trying to portray the character Satoru, the brother. What was it like for you, and also what kind of goal did you have in terms of the portrayal of this character, so that your character would speak louder than just a few words this character tends to have. This character in the film doesn't speak much until it gets to some certain point. So I wonder if there are anything that you had in your canon to portray the character.
Yeah, like, first of all, like, when I first heard about the story, the project, and the character Satoru, okay, so my character is the brother of the protagonist, but I'm, so to speak, Weijin. I'm half white and half Japanese, and so like always ethnicity is a big thing in acting. And then I'm like, okay, who's playing my brother?
Yeah.
Like, because it's gonna be tricky, like sharing the same parents, and like we gotta kind of look similar. Then I hopped on a Zoom for the audition, and the reader was Natsuki. Like, she already got the role. If I remember correctly, she had already got the role, right?
Yes.
And she was reading for me, and I was like, okay, this is perfect. She could totally look like my brother, my sibling. And Natsuki is such a good actor. It was amazing to be working with her. Like, she was so in it, and she had the drive. She had the passion and it was perfect for the project that she was playing Makoto's character, and she's not the kind of the person who leads like vocally, or like she doesn't really like act out as the star of the movie. She's not the kind of person, but she leads by example. Like, she was so in it, and was such a good influence on set. And it was my pleasure working with her, and she made my job really easy.
And I would actually be very interested, especially we had rehearsal process, and I'm sure you had some discussion with Natsuki about the relationship of the siblings. But how did you establish this sibling dynamic in the film? Maybe I'm asking such a naive question as a director, and this could be fundamental for you guys, but because on the screen you two are absolutely, natural, familiar siblings, and everybody's just, not having any doubts that these were just siblings. But obviously you are not siblings at all, and it's not that, oftentimes where you would have, such great, collaboration or chemistry, and then everything feels so impeccable. I think that it's quite rare, and I'm very glad that we have that, the dynamic between you two. But was there anything in particular that you two discussed, and then try to make sure?
I'm glad to hear that we like our dynamics and our chemistry just came across, and you could see that on screen. We had a couple of Zoom calls prior to the rehearsal. That was helpful. We went through our characters, or questions that we had, and we talked about what could have happened prior to the film. But at the same time, that awkwardness that those siblings have, and it's really hard for them to connect, although the care, the love are there. It's especially hard for Makoto to accept that, and although my character Satoru is trying so hard to support her. So although we talked about our characters and the character's history and whatnot, but at the same time, we left a couple of things just unturned. A couple rock stones unturned, because obviously I had ideas, she had ideas, but let's just not share too much of it. That I think that helped, because those characters, Satoru and Makoto, they're especially on my end, like Satoru is like trying so hard to know Makoto and like not being able to just reach her that way. And the process of me trying to discover Makoto's character and also Natsuki herself, I think that helped in the process of like portraying those characters.
That's very interesting, actually. But I think because of the history of these two characters, they're not super communicative or familiar all the time. They're quite estranged. So I think in that sense, it really helped the relationship portrayal of this, and also how they appear to be on the screen. And I think I remember the first day you came onto the set, you were thrown into one of the calls with Emily, and it was not such emotionally easy scene. I guess it was rather, the tension was high. There was a lot of things at stake, and it was rather, not about a scene of, hey, let's build up the character relationships, but rather it was like, we've got to do these things now. And then later on, we came back to the scenes where you two, Makoto and Satoru, would actually have dialogues about the family, about the history, and also the argument between them. And I wonder, this time, it could be about anything, these filming schedule, or could be about the filming environment that we were in. We were very lucky to have this one household in the middle of Shinjuku, and we had full access to that location. Therefore, it was for me and for the crews, and I'm sure it's for Natsuki and for yourself. It was almost like coming back to the same house and just working that home. But I wonder, what was it like for you this time to be in that situation with some crews from the UK, Nicholas from LA, and you also from Vancouver, Canada, and we have so many individuals working from everywhere in Tokyo. And I wonder, what was it like for you? And also, was there... sorry, dear. Just one last thing was there. Was there anything difficult about it as well? Like you had another project going on, and I'm sure the juggling both of the things is not particularly easy thing to do. So if you can elaborate a bit about your set experience, that'll be great.
First of all, I loved the set. It was such a perfect setup. Japanese style. It was kind of like an older building, Japanese style, very Japanese style. And sometimes, and the crew did a really, really beautiful job, like making it to like Makoto's, like a place where Makoto like just spends all his life, like all his time. And it's supposed to be comfortable space for Makoto, but not so much for my character. Just really helped me get into the character and get into the situation. So I was doing the theater show at the same time, and I would go back to the set like whenever I didn't have the show. All my day offs were devoted to the shoot of the film. But it was like every time I go back on set, like that environment, that setup, like just brought me back to the film, like so seamlessly, so naturally. So I was very, very grateful for that. And just working with like so many great talents from across the world, it was just such a beautiful thing. I knew you, and you were trained in the UK, and obviously Christoph, we worked together on Moonlight Driver, and knew him, and like he did such a good job, beautiful job.
Yes.
On that. So I was really excited to be working with him again. And yeah, like everyone relatively young and maybe like not too experienced, but the passion were there, so real, and they were all very skilled and talented. So I loved working with like every single one of them. They were so professional, and everyone brought something to the table, and their contribution was just beautiful. Like I love to see that.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I'm very proud of was that the average age of the crews was 26, and then obviously we had a very good ratio of all the different genders, and also we didn't have much space for the crews or any cast, so we had to minimize the number of the crews on the set. So on average we only had 12 to 15 crews on a set, but still we were able to make it happen. And that's such a beautiful thing. Such a small thing can put off something big, and I'm very, very pleased, and also I'm very thankful to all the crew members and the cast members who made it happen. But what was it like? What was your reaction to the complete film? Now, when I say completed film, it's not over yet. We still have a lot of things that we have to fix. Therefore, we are doing this crowdfunding campaign now. But you saw the film already. What was it any different to your initial reaction, let's say, when you read the script? And also, how would you like to describe this film? What can you say about this film? Because it is kind of, in my opinion, it is quite a unique film by its concept, but also by its aesthetics as well.
Yeah. So now I'm back in Vancouver, and Natsuki is now based in Vancouver, which is a very exciting thing for her. And I was like fortunate enough to watch it's still work in progress, but the film with Natsuki and my wife at my place. Like I have a projector, so I projected it on the wall. So it was like better than so much better than just watching it on my laptop.
Yeah.
Such an elevated experience there. It was great. It was great to be seeing what we worked so hard on coming together, and I can see everyone just like put so much in it, and also like I'm super grateful for you to be working so hard, and like just like completing it in such a like relatively like short amount of time, right? We shot in like spring, early summer, and it was pretty much done in by October. Yeah. But yeah, it was great. And also the like social media, like all these different platforms was such a big part of the film, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Hikikomori and like MAKOTO cannot leave her place. What would be the appropriate term for that in English? Would agoraphobia be one?
Always
like scared of going out.
Yeah, scared of going out. yeah, or afraid of going outside because of some social pressure that they feel.
Yeah. Anyway, so like for that reason, like social media, like all these platforms was like such a big part of the film. Right, that was the only one of the few ways that she could connect with the society, with other people, and one of the very few ways she could save her very, very important person. And what you did in the edit, like showing that, like using those platforms, was like I think you did such a good job.
Yeah, I think our editor Gustav, who's in Berlin, he's such a brilliant editor, and he gave me a lot of inputs, and he collaborated with me in a way that we would establish this, dual narrative structure of having a live action footage and the screen graphics. So intertwining both of the elements to establish the great sense of what kind of life this Hikikomori protagonist Makoto is having. And as you said, because Makoto cannot leave the room or go outside because of the social pressure, therefore the only resource that they able to use is obviously the social medias. Therefore it's almost like this strand of screen graphics is almost like another scene. So we are seeing the crosscut between Makoto in real life and Makoto on text, which is basically like in a virtual world in a way. So I think that has become a very good aesthetics choice that we have made in the post. Obviously we had these good idea of it, but the integration of that was quite something. I was also surprised how seamless it became in the end. But on top of the thing, just we mentioned about Hikikomori. I think I'm not sure if you had these experiences yourself, or if any of your families and friends had this before. But what do you think about the current Hikikomori issues in Japan? Or maybe you can speak from the point of view from Canada, let's say, because I'm not sure if the term Hikikomori is also something understood by the Canadian culture in a way, because I understand that not every single country would have this terminology. It's only some countries that would understand it and have some empathy to it. So yeah, I wonder.
Yeah, I grew up in Tokyo, and I've been hearing the term hikikomori like all my life, basically. But hikikomori 20 years ago and hikikomori now are probably very, very different from each other. And that we have the social media, and that we have all the other resources, platforms to actually connect with other people. And I can't say it's not better than like meeting someone in person. To be honest, like I don't think I have the right to say that, because who knows? Makoto had an actual real connection with Emily, not without going outside, like meeting with her in person. I myself personally don't have the experience. Like I didn't go through any of that growing up, and I think like I can say I was fortunate enough But how do I put it? Like, at the same time, I can't say being a hikikomori is a bad thing. Yeah, like I'm not in a position to make that judgment. And I believe you have the experience of being a hikikomori, right, yourself, and that was like part of the inspiration that you had when it comes to writing this feature film. And when I said, like, in the very beginning of this interview, when I read this script, I thought it was like very, very you. Like, I think I saw that. Although I didn't have the experience, but like I was grateful to be part of it, and like, you know, sort of experienced that as an actor, like working on this film project, to sort of like see what it was like and what it was like, what your experience was like in a way. Yeah, I don't know if I like answered your question, but those are my takes.
No, perfectly, because I think, yeah, although I cannot be defined by the government's official, you know, definition of hikikomori, by that I am not a hikikomori, but I have definitely gone through the lifestyle of it for some time, and the sentiment of the loneliness and isolation, and also wanting to have some connections with others while you stay inside. I think these are quite relatable, understandable feelings for anybody who would still go outside, I guess. And it's just that, you know, some people would feel a little bit safer to be inside. But the irony of it is, you know, when you have these connections online, you never know how they would see you. And one of the audiences who have already watched the film said the most painful thing that she has experienced was that somebody she thought was, you know, thought as a friend, suddenly flipped aside, and then just became complete, you know, a hateful person online, because she doesn't know who she is. She only knew her that, you know, she was just a friend online, and she thought he was a great, you know, good friend, but it wasn't, you know, it wasn't like that in the end. So I think it's definitely a tricky thing to have the, you know, these so-called non-impersonal, you know, non-in-person connections. But I think, yeah, the audiences who watch the film would also hopefully be able to go through the emotions of not only Makoto but also Satoru, who is actually also in that similar situation, isn't it? As Makoto. Yeah. But
yeah, like his character's like almost trapped in a household and like in their memories, and then just like trying to make it work, but it's not going anywhere. Like his character is just so stuck in that situation, like just trying, like almost like drowning, and trying to, you know, like go, like swim up and like to like take a breath, get some air, but like not being able to like reach the surface.
Yeah. I think the one of the things that, just coming back to your portrayal of the character Satoru, one thing that I felt, and also a lot of audience members have felt, was that you are such a Japanese brother, other people said. And And I think it comes, it comes from a place of, I don't know. We have, some people say, a daughter and the mother, they would never argue in Japan, like they would in Western countries, or a son and father, they will never talk to each other, or just ignore each other. In Japan, or I think in some cases that's true. But one of the things, I think this was some commentary on Koreeda Hirokazu-san's film, The Truth, La Vérité, which is a French film he directed.
Yeah.
And when he gave the script to the actors in France, they said daughters and mothers, they would not have silence, they would argue. So it was a cultural difference that the film initially had, but they have to translate, I guess, to the French culture in a way. But I think this time, the sibling dynamic was just so Japanese, and in a way, I'm very, very fortunate to have that, because this is by nature American Japanese film, and somehow a lot of times we have misportrayal of how siblings should be or how families should behave, if it was made not in Japan but elsewhere, let's say. But I think that we were able to have the right portrayal and also the right representation of how you guys would be as siblings and also as family. On that note, I wonder, since you were born and raised in Japan, but later on you moved to Canada, Vancouver, was there anything that might have influenced your acting or your portrayal of this character, Satoru, with the experience you have now as opposed to before you moved to Canada?
I think so. I think so. But I can't really pinpoint what that is, and I'm not necessarily aware of any changes that I had. But I believe so, because we're human beings, and especially actors, they keep changing, I think. Trying to adjust to the external environment. What the acting industry here requires you to be or to do. I think I'm constantly changing. Yeah. So to answer your question, totally. Yes, I think I've changed since I moved here, and my acting has been influenced by it. Yeah. I just can't really pinpoint what that thing.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense.
But yeah, totally. It's really interesting that one of the people who saw the film saw that Satoru kind of carries the Japanese characteristics, or maybe the role in the family that a big brother is expected to do, is to just carry on the family legacy, or the bond, take care of the little brother. Although they lost their parents to a tragic accident, they still he's single-handedly trying to just move forward, and he can't just let his little brother suffer by himself. Yeah. And I find it very interesting, but it totally makes sense that it came across as very Japanese.
Yeah, I think especially the character being the older brother, and basically the oldest one in the family now, as the parents have passed away. Definitely there are a lot of pressures that they the character would carry. I absolutely agree with that. Just a few final questions, but now you're in Canada, and we were in the same club at university, and I'm very happy that you took your trajectory to Canada, and now you're thriving as an actor over there. And I'm also trying to thrive as writer director globally, and I hope that our career trajectory would just continue to cross, and we would be able to collaborate on many more projects. But I wonder what you would like to achieve now you're in this place in Vancouver, and also you can work in a way both of the industries, since you were trained in Japan, and you have the this Japanese acting style as well, but also you are well equipped with so-called, I'm not sure if it's the right way of saying it, but Canadian, or let's say North American style of acting, which could be something different to how actors would go into the audition, or actors are asked to portray the character on camera here in Japan. But what do you want to achieve in your career, and also how would you like to
thanks for asking. First of all, thanks for saying that you wanna be working with me for more projects. I totally feel the same way. I want to be making films every year with you.
Thank you.
Hope stars align, and we collaborate many more times. And what I want to achieve here as an actor, I mean, it's such a competitive industry.
Yes.
And nothing is secure. It's a constant rejection, right? You get an audition, and you're excited about the project, and you spend hours and hours for the audition, and for perfect tape, and you get a coaching, and you make a really good tape, and you feel good about it, and you're excited, and you send it in, and then you hear nothing. And then you don't even know where you're at the process of casting, and the next thing you know, you read an article about someone else just landing on that role. It's a constant rejection. It's hard, but I'm trying to. What I'm trying to do here is, I think, not really giving up. Just be consistent. Keep showing up, and embrace the little wins. Getting an audition is a win, and then a callback is already a win, huge win. And you may not land on a role, you might land on a project, but you keep showing up, and that's a win. And in order to do that, you have to make it sustainable. It could have been, it can be your side gig, day job, whatever. But you want to keep doing that. You want to keep showing up. You want to be consistent, because without consistency, there's no success. There's no skill that you attain. I was fortunate to be trained in Japan. I went to drama school for 3 years, and I graduated. That's when my career started. And I was fortunate enough to be working with so many great talents in Japan and in North America, like you. I just want to keep doing that.
Yeah, I think I only have respect to actors, because I could not handle that pressure and also constant rejections. Therefore, I took a path of writing and directing, and I can only I only have respect, and I personally, as a friend, wish you really, really, all the best, for getting auditions, getting callbacks, and also getting the roles in the end. That would make me absolutely happy, and also I think many of the crew members and cast members absolutely delighted to see you in these things. But just two last questions. Why do you think audience should watch this film in cinema or in movie theaters, as opposed to just watching it online?
Oh, I see. Interesting. When you go out there, you can share the experience. It's not just you. There's going to be people around you, and although you may not be like talking to those people, but you were there in the same space, and you're definitely sharing the experience, sharing the time, and you feel something. And this film is about going a little bit aside of your comfort zone. And it's scary, it's uncomfortable, but it could be exciting, it could be rewarding. And like I want the audience to feel that, and hopefully share that experience with the people that they share the space with.
Yeah, I think I'm very interesting that you said that now, because I was in cinema last night, and I was also having that sort of I'm not sure if it's an epiphany moment or something like that, but just because I was just went there by myself, and there are a couple of people in cinema, and
what did you watch?
I watched the Hosoda Mamoru-san's Scarlet. It is an animation feature film.
Right.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And after the screening, I just watched across the cinema, the movie theater audience, and I kind of felt like, okay, you know what? I just went there alone, but then we definitely shared this experience together, and I shared one eye contact with this guy, and we were like, nodding, and I think,
oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and I think that's almost like, maybe you went there with a bit of a loneliness, but you now realize, okay, there are people who could share the same passion and also same idea, and that's almost like, it's the same thing of hoping for connections, or just realizing that you might not be alone as much as you think. There are always people who would understand and also share your ideas. And yeah. But okay, one last question. One random thing from the set or any stage of the production, could be pre-production, could be post-production, that you would like to share with the audience.
Little bit of trivia, not trivia, but so I'm sure you remember, but we were kind of like shooting. It was late at night, like one of the last shots of the day. Very, very intense, heated scene with Satoru and MAKOTO, and they're in a fight, they're in an argument, and it's very heated, and MAKOTO pushes Satoru, and then Satoru kind of like pulls. And during the shoot, like I was pushed to the door at the entrance, and I crashed the glasses. Yeah. I'm sure you remember that. Yeah, I felt really, really bad. Obviously, like Christoph called it, and then we kind of like paused the shoot for a moment. I felt really bad. Natsuki felt terrible about it, but it was almost like I think it was past midnight. Like we were like trying to ramp up, but that was really hard for everybody. But everyone handled the situation so gracefully. I just remember that, and, like even now, and I'm like just so grateful. It was such a beautiful company, like such a beautiful, really nice group of people. I loved working with them.
Yeah, I think I was also feeling very bad that it happened, but I was also in awe of the Christoph and Michael, our gaffer, and the others who really made sure that everybody feels safe, everybody feel no one was injured. Yeah, no one was injured, which was the greatest thing. Yeah. But also the comfort that they gave immediately, and the way in which they handled the situation. I'm pretty sure any productions would have these moments, but having these two gentlemen from the UK, I think they handled it very, very well. And fortunately or unfortunately, we have not used that take in the film. So the take.
Damn it! Such a great shot.
It was indeed. But all right, then. Thank you very much for your time, Leo-san. That was the end of the interview. Unless you have anything.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, unless you have anything, and we can call it a day. But thank you very much for your time.
Well, yeah, just one thing, because I mentioned, acting being such a difficult profession. But project like this, like projects with you, and those are some things that gets me going, keeps me going, pushes me. So I'm super grateful that we got to work on this one, and I truly believe and hope there's going to be many more in the future.
Absolutely, and likewise, I would like to echo that, and also very grateful. And I would also speak on the behalf of Nicholas and other people. It's always great to welcome you back and work together, and also to get inspired by your performance, which would elevate the character a lot more better than we imagine on the paper. And it is always a joy to watch you act on camera. And I'm pretty sure Christoph would also say the same thing. And the remarkableness of that is something I'm very delighted to see on the set, and also in the post-production as well, because we have all these hours of footage, and to see you, and of course this time Natsuki as Makoto, and Daisy, Kenta-san, and all the others who I have worked together. It's almost like you're seeing the graduation album from your of your schools, and then you see these familiar faces on the screen, and you edit them together. It's almost like very exciting thing, and also very personally enjoyable thing. And professionally speaking, I think thanks to all these connections, thanks to all these great efforts from every talent, we had such a great film, and I'm very hopeful that this would take off for not only for the film but also for every individual who participated in this film. So I thank you very much on that note, and looking forward to next project and the next project and next.
All right.
Okay, thank you very much. Take care.
Thanks so much. Yeah, you too.